natural immunity to go and get vaccinated.
Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace was on CNN and on Fox News on the same day, giving two very different opinions about vaccines. So I'm going to play this clip for you. It's going to be back to back. She was on Fox News and then on CNN. She's wearing the exact same thing. She was probably sitting in the same spot. Here are her comments on vaccines on one versus the other.
In some studies that I've read, natural immunity gives you 27 times more protection against future COVID infection than a vaccination. And so we need to take all of the science into account and not selectively choosing what science to follow when we are making policy decisions. I've been a proponent of vaccinations and wearing masks when we need to. When we had the Delta variant raging in South Carolina, I wrote an op-ed to my community. And I've worked with our State Department of Health. I've run ads encouraging my district to go and get vaccinated. And when we have these variants and we have these spikes, to take every precaution from washing our hands to wearing the N95 or KN95 masks, more than the medical mask, there is a statistically significant number of people that are protected from COVID when they wear those masks.
This is everything people hate about politicians. You have one set of beliefs for one audience and a different set of beliefs for a different audience, all because you want to be able to maintain your popularity and your seat, having no real principles or belief system. Now, look, there's a difference between catering your message to a certain audience and changing your entire belief system. So if Nancy Mace here actually believed what she said on CNN about the vaccines, that she supports vaccinations, then on Fox News, she could have said, well, I understand that natural immunity is people feel very strongly about it. It does help, but all the data shows that vaccines give you even more protection against the virus. So there she can speak to, the natural immunity audience while also giving them the actual information about vaccines. But instead, she pits the two against each other, saying that natural immunity is actually it's even better for you than the vaccination is, which is ridiculous. So I'll get to some of the data in a second here. But look, if you've had COVID, you have even more, and you have some natural immunity. And by the way, not everyone that had COVID has antibodies, but if you do, you get even more protection by having a vaccine. There is no downside to also getting the vaccine. But before I get to that, look, I went to see if she tried to, or if she has any response to this, because this clip blew up online. A lot of places covered it. From all that I've read, there's been no comment from her office. The only thing I saw was this on Twitter, where she tweeted this out a few hours ago, saying supporting vaccinations and supporting those who have natural immunity are not mutually exclusive, nor are they contradictory. We can't pick and choose what science fits our politics. Now, if you watch this full Fox News clip, she does not talk about the importance of getting vaccinated. She talks about what you saw, natural immunity. So you can't say this in a tweet, but then when you're on Fox News, you only talk about natural immunity. And when you're on CNN, you talk about the importance of vaccines and masks. It is so just, this is the kind of thing that shows people how phony you are. And it's not just Nancy Mace, not to single her out. I'm sure there are other clips that you could pull out from other people that do the exact same thing. This is what the vast majority of politicians do, because they are told to do this. They're told to cater their message. But what they miss in that discussion, in that idea of catering your message, is that you still need to have principles. You still need to have a belief system at the bottom of that. And then catering is all about how you convince certain people of your beliefs. But if you have no actual beliefs, then what the hell are you doing? You're just here to collect a paycheck and to try and get possibly a cushy job at some corporation when you're out of here, which is in reality what most of these politicians try to do. They're in here to serve corporations, serve the wealthy donors, and then once they're out, they get a cushy job at one of these places that they helped to lobby for while they were in Congress. It really is a disgusting revolving door that most of these lawmakers take part in. Now, last thing here, just to correct some of her information around the natural immunity aspect of this. So this from Rolling Stone. The CDC has very much taken into account what natural immunity has done. The CDC released a study last month finding that unvaccinated people who had a prior COVID infection were 5.5 times more likely to test positive for the virus than vaccinated individuals who never had COVID. Earlier CDC studies back up these results. One prior study discovered that less than 2/3 of adults with a prior COVID infection developed any antibodies against the virus, compared to 100% of individuals who developed antibodies after vaccination. A separate study found that natural immunity can decrease over time, especially for those who did not mount a strong initial immune response to the virus. So first, on this last point here, since I know there will be people in the comments that want to bring this up, yes, not only does natural immunity decrease over time, so do the vaccines, as we've seen. That's why there are booster shots now. But also, you have to take into account that the vaccines are also a lot more likely to protect you than natural immunity can, based on all the data we've seen. And that's also assuming you survived COVID. And that's also assuming you actually have antibodies from getting COVID, which apparently many people don't after getting COVID. So regardless, bottom line here, the vaccine protects you. Whether you've had COVID, whether you've not had COVID, whether you have natural immunity or not, get the vaccine. It's going to help you regardless. And Nancy Mace on Fox News, on CNN, apparently knows this, but only caters her message in a specific way to the Fox News viewers because she doesn't actually care about helping people, doesn't actually care about educating people. She just caters her message depending on the viewership because she wants to maintain her popularity and her seat like the vast majority of lawmakers. They don't actually care about anything. They have no real principle. It's all about their own career. And it's important that we call this kind of crap out and expose these phonies for who they really are.